is it the return of COVID? COVID cases are now up nearly 90% in the last 24 hours. The overall numbers are still very, very low. Cases are 2,184. Remember, many people are also not getting tested at this stage, but it's just showing a rise again. Deaths, now that's a major rise because it's 214. Yesterday, just 4 deaths were reported. Of course, yesterday was a holiday. Also, there is a backlog of around 60 deaths in this number. Vaccinations is up as well. Again, the days before were a holiday, long holiday, so the vaccinations had slowed down. Tests are also up. I'm down by 28.39%, and the daily positivity rate is 0.83, so that's up as well, nearly 50%. So those are numbers which in absolute numbers are not high, but what's worrying is the trend. Now, if you break down these numbers, the highest rise is actually in just 3 states as of now. So it's Delhi, which is really leading that rise, which has seen over 2,300 cases in a week. That's a 145% change over the previous week. Neighboring Haryana is over 1,100 cases in a week. That's up almost 120%. And UP now has 550 cases, which is a 145% rise in the last 1 week. So cases are rising sharply in and around Delhi, in the NCR, in next door cities like Noida, Ghaziabad and Gurugram. There have also been overall 2,183 cases in the last 24 hours, which is the highest in the last 1 month. Also a 15% rise in weekly cases after 38 consecutive days of a decline, that is negative growth. So this is the steepest turnaround from falling numbers. And India's reproduction rate, or the rate at which cases are increasing, is now above 1 after 77 days. Again, this is a measure of cases growing. So states are announcing different measures. Uttar Pradesh has made masks mandatory again in neighbouring districts of Delhi. And the centre has written to Kerala asking how Kerala has gone from 300 cases to 0 overnight. Because for the last 5 days, there's been no data reported. So the centre saying this data coming after a 5-day gap has actually skewed India's numbers and made it seem higher than it actually is. But one big worry in the NCR area remains schools, where cases are rising because many young children are not vaccinated.
At least 2 schools shut last week because of rising COVID cases reopened today in Ghaziabad, next door to Delhi. It is one of the places where masks have been made mandatory by the government. Local officials say cases are rising, mostly amongst children.
शासन के और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के निर्देश पर एक तो सर्वेलेंस की गतिविधि को बढ़ाया गया है। विगत कुछ दिनों में कुछ स्कूल्स में जो कोविड केसेस आई है सामने है, ओवरऑल एनसीआर में कुछ हद तक पॉजिटिविटी दर जरूर वृद्धि हुई है, परंतु समाज में कोई भी एज सच कोई हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन में इंक्रीज या कोई वृद्धि देखने को नहीं मिली है।
केसेस जरूर बढ़ रहे हैं, जैसे मौसम बदल रहा है तो केसेस ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, पर दिल्ली की टोटल पॉपुलेशन जो है वो वैक्सीनेटेड हो चुकी है। साथ ही बहुत बड़ी संख्या में लोग इन्फेक्टेड भी हो चुके हैं। तो अब जो केसेस आ रहे हैं पॉजिटिव जरूर आ रहे हैं, बट दे आर नॉट सीरियस। हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन नहीं बढ़ रहा है उसकी वजह से।
In UP's Noida, also bordering Delhi, there are 65 new COVID cases. Almost 19 are students below the age of 18. 9-year-old Aradhak of Noida is back to online classes again. His school has been shut for a week after over 10 students tested positive for COVID. Offline classes will resume from Wednesday. The UP government is stepping up action with a big focus on schools. Face masks in public places back to being mandatory in Noida, Ghaziabad, Hapur, Meerut, Bulandshahr, Bagpat as well as distant Lucknow. Noida has ordered schools to set up COVID help desks to check students for symptoms and implement COVID protocols. The Noida administration's advice to parents is this: don't send children with COVID-like symptoms to school. Over 90 students in 22 schools of Gautam Budh Nagar and Ghaziabad tested positive for COVID since campuses reopened for the new academic session this month. Parents are worried, but especially those whose children are taking the boards from next week.
स्कूल क्लोज करना एक कोई मतलब परमानेंट ऑप्शन नहीं है. If 40 students are there in one school, then they should call 20 student on Monday, then 20 student on Tuesday. Online classes ठीक है, ठीक थी, but still offline is better than online.
क्योंकि बोर्ड्स होने हैं तो बच्चों को एग्जाम भी देना जरूरी है. तो हमारी तो सरकार से ये मांग है कि सेल्फ सेंटर करा दिए जाएं, कोई बहुत परेशानी नहीं है, बच्चों को इधर से उधर मूवमेंट नहीं करना पड़ेगा.
Several states in India had removed all COVID restrictions after cases came down. But with the numbers surging again, especially among children in some areas, the authorities are changing their action plans. In Noida, with camera person Sushil Rathi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.